Good afternoon. We're joined by head coach Gary Watkins. Night before the game, coach. Thanks for joining us today.
No doubt, Bo. Happy to be here tonight, man.
Absolutely. I'll get to it as soon as I can because I know there's a lot of game planning ahead of the game tomorrow. Hey, first game of the year. We dominated on all three aspects of the game. It's kind of hard to determine or point out, specifically some of the good or the bad, especially in such a lopsided game, right? I think we were up 51-0 at halftime. But if I were to ask you something about that game, what did you see that you believe that we should be able to clean up immediately?
Yeah, so I mean, it's always good to get a win that first week. I thought our guys played really hard. I
Mm-hmm.
thought they executed the game plan effectively. I think one of the beauties of week one is that everybody's kind of trying to figure it out a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So it's an opportunity to get your team refocused on the details of what it is you're trying to accomplish, right? Everybody looks at the score and they go, "Oh, the score is this." And I tell our guys every single week, do not ever worry about the score. Like
mm-hmm.
that's my job as a head coach. It's my job to manage the scoreboard. It is their job to play to
Sure.
our standard of performance, And so there were some areas in which we exceeded our standard of performance, and there were some areas in which we did not, And so like a lot of teams around the state, week one, a lot of your issues are going to be logistically, right? It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
substitutions, and it's going to be 12 guys on the field, 10 guys on the field, right? It's going to be those types of penalties that usually raise their heads during that week one. And so we had a couple of those moments. They didn't actually cost us penalty wise. We were able to rectify the situation before it got flagged. But as a head coach in a game like that, that's what you're looking at. And so I had an opportunity on Monday in our team
Mm-hmm.
meeting to put together a 15 to 20 play
Mm-hmm.
cut up, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? You're like, hey, this is what we did great. We love to see this. The guys get excited and they cheer. And then here's the things that we have to improve on going into next week. And so
Mm-hmm.
they got to, enjoy their victory because they earned it through a tough fall camp and a week one. And then obviously be able to get them dialed back in on the things that, you show them on the film. Hey, we can't continue to do these kind of things because they will hurt us in the future.
Sure. Speaking of to getting a glimpse, we saw a little bit of Jax Leatherwood, right? Transfer from
Mhm.
UNR, local product out of Scripture Edge High School. We've been doing this now together now for about, I think, 5 or 6 seasons now. And I think
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
kind of truly the first time you've had a true drop back quarterback, a gunslinger per se. When I heard he was coming to Mesa, I was excited because I knew of Jax. The funny part is I worked with his father back in 2000 with the Chargers. All right, long story short, you have a true gunslinger back there.
Yeah.
I know with your offense and some of the things that you like to do, it's got to be exciting for you. And what are some of the things that you see in Jax that impresses you?
Yeah, I mean, it is exciting to have Jax here in our program. He came to us, like you said, from UNR, and he's just been a phenomenal young
Hmm.
man since the day he stepped on campus.
Sure.
He has an unbelievable personality, unbelievable work ethic. The guys love him. The guys rallied around him, and
Hmm.
he possesses all the tools that you're looking for. And that guy is going to help lead your team over that hump, get you to that next level. And
Yeah.
so obviously he didn't get to play as much as he probably would have liked to have played in week one
Hmm.
because of game flow. But I think that he does have the ability to help us do what it is that we need to do throughout the course of the season. And so I mean, he possesses a big arm,
Yeah.
very very solid football IQ, and he has a contagious personality. I
Hmm.
keep coming back to his personality. His personality is extremely contagious. And so it's had a positive impact on not only our offense but our team as a whole.
Sure.
And so we look forward to seeing where we go with Jax as the season progresses. Obviously, Jax can't do it by himself. There's a number
Yep.
of guys out there as well who have made an imprint on our team and our offense already. And so week two will be a nice opportunity for us to go out there and showcase those guys
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, let me expand on a little bit. Like you said, he's tall. He knows how to read. He knows how to go through progressions. He has great pocket awareness. But with that all that being said, one of the things that I notice is, you have a big O line this year, and being involved in offensive line and also having different stints in here at Mesa and obviously different areas, professional football, in O line and tight ends coach. Would you say at this point with practice and first game of the year that your O line is going to be a strength this year?
We're definitely hoping that our offensive line is a strength this year.
Yeah.
As a former offensive lineman myself, it's something that we take great pride in at Mesa College. Coach Chevy does an amazing job getting those guys
Hmm.
ready to play, both mentally and physically, each and every week. We put a lot of pressure and a
Yeah.
lot of things that they have to know and be able to adjust to every single week in order for us to play at our highest level offensively. And so I've always been a believer that if you can get your team, if your team personality mimics that of your offensive line,
Hmm.
the selflessness, the hard work, the blue collar work ethic,
Yep.
um, that comes oftentimes with offensive line guys. If your team resembles that unit, you have a chance to be pretty special. And so we've been fortunate to get a couple guys who come back to us who've bounced back from the 4-year level, as well as a number of homegrown guys who've been with us now, some 2, some 3 years. And so we're excited about the group that we have going out there and leading the charge offensively for us.
Yeah. And hey, two more questions for you, Coach. Yeah, I always bring this up, and again, it's early. There's a lot of procedural things that we can fix, and yeah, the holding calls, the false starts, offsides. So I kind of see those as okay. Those are the things that happens in the game, right? They happen. They will happen. Continue to happen, but so just still, some of the penalties, and lack of a better word, some of the dumb fouls that we sometimes commit, right, will
Yeah.
eventually, it can come and bite us in the butt in the future, especially, when the games get a little tougher. Um, what do you hammer in their heads all week long to eliminate that? And I believe last week we came close to almost 100 yards in penalties, right? Well, what's the strategy in that in order to get them to say, hey, do your job, whistle's over, just do what you have to do and move to the next play. How do you guys attack that?
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you. We attack it head on. Like I'm going to put those personal foul penalties on that bad portion of that cut up clip. I'm going to show the entire team, like this is not necessary. This is not the Mesa way. This is not how we
Mm,
play. We are, it's a selfish act. Some of those penalties
mm,
are selfish acts,
mm,
and just trying to get our guys to understand that, like you said, we can get away with those things per se in this game, but it's going to cost us in future games. And so we try to eliminate the idea of it's okay because of who we're playing or it's not okay because of who we're
mm,
playing. We're the Mesa Olympians every single week, and that's the standard that we're trying to chase. You know what I mean? And so the expectation is it doesn't matter who we're playing. If we're playing a Pop Warner football team or we're playing the LA Rams, it doesn't matter to me. Like we have a standard of performance that we're looking to chase each and every week, and that's not a part of it. And so
sure.
the game of football is it's a very emotional game. It's played with a ton of passion, and sometimes we ask these guys to straddle that line, and sometimes they go across the line, right? And
Hmm.
when they do that, it's our job to say, okay, hey, that's over the line. That's too much. We don't want to do that. We don't. This is the consequences of that behavior. This is how it affects not only yourself but your team in
Mm,
the game. And so, like you said, the penalties that are going to happen just by happenstance within the game, those are going to happen. But when you start talking about late hits and you know 12 men on the field and intentional pass interferences or unnecessary roughness, things that we can
mm,
control that aren't often necessary.
mhm,
Those things really get my blood boiling real quick. I'm a believer that what happens between the whistles should speak for itself.
mhm.
Anything after the whistle doesn't matter. It doesn't count. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so let your pads do the talking, and that's all we need to do, and that's what we're striving to get our guys to do each and every week.
Absolutely. And I can definitely see some of those emotions on the sideline when those penalties happen. I think I've lost half of my hair doing that sometimes as well.
Oh
So,
yeah.
last question for you, Coach. Hey, moving forward to Cerritos, what do we know about them? What do we need to do to come out with a victory? I do know that look at some of their stats. They did have a balanced attack. They beat Antelope Valley I believe it was 44-23 last week. Uh, give us a little bit about what you guys have found out through your scouting team of the Falcons, and what do we need to do?
Yeah, so the Cerritos Falcons, I don't know, year in and year out, be one of the blue bloods in the SCFA. Coach Dean Grossfeld does an amazing job getting his guys ready to play each and every week. We've had some epic battles in the last 3 or 4 years now, including last year. And it's going to be a hard fought battle for 60 minutes, and potentially even more. I mean, last year, if you remember, the game came down to the final play. It came down to the absolute final play of the game, in which we batted the ball down in order to get the victory. But the one thing about the Cerritos that always stands out to me is just their discipline and their ability to be efficient and be effective on in all three phases of the game. They're going to be big. They're going to be physical. They're going to be tough. Blue collar. Honestly, sometimes just like looking in the mirror, like it's like, yeah, that's like playing ourselves. That's who we want to be. You know what I mean? And it's a really good test for us because year in and year out, they are going to be in the mix, in whatever conference they're in. And so it's a very good measuring stick for us to figure out who we are early in the season. And so I expect a phenomenal football game, an exciting football game come Saturday evening on Mount Olympus at 6 p.m.
Absolutely. And just a reminder for some of the people that have forgotten what the score was. San Diego Mesa ended up defeating Cerritos College 14-10 last season. Hey, Coach, I appreciate your time. Excited for the game tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
All right, boy. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Go get some of that spaghetti all taken care of because I know you'll be
Right.
a while. All right, sir. We'll talk later.
All right now.